Hey there, Sensei Mish here with a brand new episode of This Old Dojo. So in this episode, I'm going to be essentially hanging a TV. Don't have the TV here yet, but I have everything that goes with it. I don't know if you can see with the chalk outline, I started the project and then was like, ooh, wait a minute, why aren't I not recording this? So, this is about how big the TV is going to be. So I have an older 47-inch flat screen at home. So it's got a nice little bezel on it, and then at the bottom there's the speaker and all that kind of stuff. So it's 47 inches inside, but it's really like 30 inches by 44. So it's actually a pretty big TV. So I want it roughly here on the wall. So I've got my little lip here. I'm going to put this on the wall. And then it's going to be on a hinge, so it actually will be able to hinge out. So it'll be, I've got all this mat space on this side. So then if we're doing a class or, I can pull this out and then do a presentation or whatever, or I can just do Zoom right here and then the rest of the class can be over there. So I kind of wanted it like right here. So I chalked it out. I don't know if you can see this little chalk outline, but what this has, the beams on the other side of this are just metal beams. So you can't really put anything on there. And I know that there's a way to do it. I just don't know how to do it. But between the sheetrock and the outside wall is about 1.5 inches. So there's about enough room to put a 2x4 in there, or in this case, I'm gonna put a 2x6. So I'm cutting out, so I've got my square. I have, I took my this is what's actually gonna be holding the TV up. So it's gonna go right here, kind of right in the center. And I didn't measure, because for this, I really don't need to. Now, when I actually mount it, yes, it will be, it'll be level. Whether it'll be exactly center, like I don't have to have it exactly this far off. It's just gonna be whatever, okay? But I need to be able to, because it's a heavier TV, I need to be able to mount it and have it stick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm opening up the wall right here. And I can see up there, I've got a little steel beam about here. So I'm gonna put a 2x4, a piece of wood here and a piece of wood here, and actually mount that to the concrete, okay, or the cement. And then I'm gonna sheetrock it over, and then I'll be able to mount the actual bracket to that, so I'll have this nice, secure thing. So that's the process. And I've already started cutting, so I know you really, really wanted to watch me cut, but it is what it is. So there we go. Let me get to finishing this. And so my back isn't always to it. I'm gonna move the camera to a different angle. I gotta be careful because I know that there's probably like a screw or somewhere in here. I just don't know where it is. So I just don't want to rip the whole thing out. I just like to take it apart in one piece if I can. Feels like this was 2 pieces of board. And that like the seam is like natural seam is right there. So there's probably a screw here and a screw here. Yep. There you go. Right there and there. And just like I said, there was a seam. So, now we have some electrical wires coming down, but that's fine. We can just move those out of the way. And it's funny because I don't know where those go. Like I do have a plug. There is a plug right here. And that's possibly where one of those wires is going, but I really don't know where any of these other plugs are going. But the pieces of wood don't need to be big. They just need to be like right here. I want to make it, I want to put it in so it's just behind here, but it'll be here and here. And then these will be out of the way, so I know I won't screw into those. But yeah, so Now it's just a process of doing all of that. So I had made marks kind of where the holes were. So I'm just gonna make marks on the outside here, about roughly where I should probably have. So I'll have one 2x6 right here, another 2x6 right here. Sweet. I had to leave to get a saw. Now I got a saw. Now I'm gonna cut my wood, which I have right here. Ooh yeah. And we'll figure out how long it needs to be. So we'll do, let's see, 18 inches is a good height. Plan B, just cut it the size of the hole. 16 inches. Well, that sucked. Now for the glue. Should we do the glue first? Maybe not. Anyway, so check this out. So this is, I'm using Gorilla Glue heavy duty adhesive, construction adhesive, and I have my trusty caulk gun here. Now, I don't know how long I have been doing construction stuff. Never professionally, just, you know, because I like it. This little hole, I just learned this. You know those little 5-minute craft dumb shit videos on the internet? Yeah, that little hole is actually designed to cut this, that little tip. I've been doing that, I don't know, taking a razor blade forever. But all I need to do is just come right here and go, boom, and it's done. Like, you can even see the little blade in there? Isn't that nifty? I kind of feel stupid. Anyway, now this little part here, this is actually designed, and I knew this because there's a seal inside there. You just stick that in the hole and you puncture it. At least you're supposed to be able to. Holy cow. Well, this is Gorilla Glue, so. Yeah, unscrew and, well, it says, unscrew and remove nozzle from top of cartridge. Cut plastic tip off of cartridge. So this, this unscrews. Read the directions. Okay, let's see. Will this work? Nope. No. Now I need the razor blade. I knew I was going to need a razor blade at some point. Now, do you think I think that this will hold this in there, and then I can put the sheetrock over, and then I can drill in the holes and hold up the wall and hold up the TV? Yes, I have confidence in that, but I like to way overdo it. So I'm still going to drill holes in here to make sure that that's mounted with concrete anchors, because I don't want this to go anywhere. And it's probably some random city ordinance or some shit that they don't tell anybody about. Okay, I'm just gonna let this sit and dry just a little bit, and then it holds in 60 seconds. I'm gonna wait a little bit, just make sure it's up there, so when I start drilling, it doesn't start going everywhere. So we'll come back in a second. All right, so I've let them dry a little bit. Not long, it really didn't take, but that's pretty secure. So I've got my cement drill bit. I can go through the wood into the concrete. And we'll do that now.
I think
Doesn't want to go in.
the hole that you
Okay, I got it in, yay! Trial and error. This tip was not catching very well because it's been worn, probably from me rubbing it like that. But new tip, new bits, or new things, they're all in. So now I can start putting this back up and going from there. Okay, so the next step in this process is to put this thing back on. It's going to be really simple. I just put this back up, and then I have some sheetrock screws that I'm going to, I'll probably put one here, and then maybe a couple here, whatever, just to make sure that it stays. So. I knew that there was one bolt that was sticking up that I didn't want to mess with, so it's kind of sticking up here. So I'm just gonna. It is what it is. So now I patch. Yay. All right. So what I do want to do is I want to make sure, because that's roughly the center of the 2x4. So I want to, or the 4x whatever. And then that's going to be about the same thing right there. And that's going to be roughly there. And that's going to be roughly there. Because I'm going to end up patching over those marks. So I want those marks to be open. So when I actually go to bolt it in and screw the holes for bolting it in, then it'll be fine. Now, I am not, as you can see, if you've watched any of these videos, you can tell I am not a master construction guy. I usually do a lot of this shit just by the seat of my pants. Sheetrock, not too bad at. I'm gonna mud, and then I'm gonna tape, and I'm gonna mud again. And different people do it different ways, but this is how I'm gonna do it. So, all right. So now we use tape here. And some people say you can just put this directly on there. Some people like to wet it like I do. Then there's people who, will actually run it through the mud, and then we'll do that. But I just like to get it wet. So I will do, but this is originally the way that I was taught. That's kind of how I go about it. So I don't think there's a wrong way. There might be different ways. But hey, if you're a sheetrocker, knock yourself out. I'm gonna go get these wet. And when I talk about wet, I don't mean like sopping, like dripping. I just run one side under the water. This is because this is paper. So it's gonna soak it up. But we'll do one side. So you do this. And it basically is just creating a good, solid seam. And so I did put putty under here earlier, or a second ago. So like here, make a mess. And yes, I'm putting it on top, but I will actually kind of run it so it's not just sticking above it. I do want to make it as flat as possible. the whole goal is not just to patch the crack. The goal really is to make sure that it blends as well as possible. So this does have texture over it, so I'm plastering over texture. I did buy texture spray, so once I sand everything, because I patched, I sanded, and then I did some more patching, and I was like, why should I sand anymore? I've got this I have to do, there's a bunch of other stuff I need to do. So I'm just gonna patch, I patch. I'll sand when everything's ready. But the whole goal is to make sure that this blends well. So here, there's gonna be a bump here and there's gonna be a bump here. It blends pretty well here and it blends pretty well here. But like, I wanna make sure that, you can see the bumps there, that it actually has a good blend. And when this dries, this is going to shrink. So, and I'm aware of that. And if this job really, really sucks that I'm doing, it'll be covered by the TV, so no one will see it. However, the point is I will know it's there. And that's kind of where my OCD comes in, of me being all paranoid. Okay, so we are, for the most part, finished with this tiny little project here. I'm gonna let this dry. I will probably patch it and sand it, or sand it and patch it, whatever process I wanna do. I have a lot of other sanding in here. This is really the last thing I need to do to prepare this. So we'll just end this video here because that's pretty much it. The finishing part, I'll, after I finish sanding and then I'll do the texture, we'll touch back on this. So this will be connected in a future episode. So if you have not liked, shared, subscribed, done all those really cool things, even comments, I want to hear your comments. What do you think about what's going on? Would you have done something different? Do you like it? Anyway, like, share, subscribe if you haven't done it already, and I will see you on the next episode.